So for today's video, I thought it'd be interesting to have a chat with AJ Ewers. AJ works for Grand Hotel Group, which is the subsidiary of Tuan Singh Holdings. And Grand Hotel Group owns what used to be known as the Hyatt down on Adelaide Terrace, but is now known as Shoppe on Langley. So AJ is overseeing the redevelopment, and thought it'd be interesting to have a chat with him about what he's seeing and doing down on Adelaide Terrace. So AJ, thanks for your time. Maybe start off with what's the history of this site?
Thanks, Tim. The property was originally built in 1984 by Multiplex. Originally started off as the Merlin Hotel, and it sort of came online just before Burswood and Rendezvous came online. If you think of the 80s as a time of opulence, it was when they were building big hotels and making grand statements. It was a bit unique compared to Burswood. We didn't have a casino. We had a commercial arm and a retail arm that was originally built around the property. In 1988, the Hyatt Group came in and bought a share of the property and rebranded to Hyatt, and then we existed as the Grand Hyatt or the Hyatt Regency until 2024, when Grand Hotel took action of it, of the hotel. And as we started to reformulate the property to offer a wider retail offering to accommodate more commercial and retail. History of the hotel itself was obviously the place to be. There would have been many property council lunches and functions that you would have gone to over your time, Tim, in your time as an agent.
Sure.
We hope to bring that back over the next few years. But going through old Perth photos, one of the interesting ones was the launch of Foster's Beer in 1986 in the Grand Ballroom, obviously launching into Western Australia to take on Emu Export and Swan Lager at the time. So it's had some pretty storied histories. I'm sure if the walls could talk, I'll tell you plenty of the parties that used to go on here. At the front, the rich history of retail here is Friends Restaurant facing the Swan River was an icon of Perth dining for a long time. And that was supported by Jessica's Restaurant on the opposite side, which have now been cleaned out. Jessica's Restaurant's now a 1,000 square metre gym. And we're just about to hopefully announce in the next coming weeks a replacement of Friends Restaurant, which will bring that story full circle to being a restaurant again.
And so that, I guess, leads into my next question, which is about the timeline and the vision, probably more importantly, the vision for the property. Obviously, you had Fortescue there for many years, so you're overseeing the redevelopment as they move on. So what's the vision for the property as a whole?
So the property for the whole, I think we need to look at it in a way that the hotel supports the retail and commercial reports helps the retail, and working in a cyclical nature. We've added 9,500 square metres of retail onto the level 3 of the property, which is effectively Adelaide Terrace level. It's slightly raised on the Terrace Road side because of the dip. But the 9,500 square metres will be a mix of allied health. We've added a supermarket already. They've been trading for 12 months already. And adding amenity, which is not really existent in East Perth for commercial tenants. And on the back of that,
There's no real neighbourhood shopping centre in East Perth, is there?
There isn't. The closest competitor of IGA is about a 300 square metre IGA on Royal Street. And then you're looking at either CBD for Woolworths or Coles, or you're looking at Highgate or Vic Park, or even Subiaco for the residents to do their weekly shop.
Yeah.
In the last 12 months, we've seen that the residents of East Perth are driving and shopping at our IGA, based on our parking numbers and our figures that are coming through. The part of that remix is that if we're sort of satisfying that amenity for commercial tenants, we need to provide a wider mix for our hotel guests. So not only have we got the great amenity of the Swan River at our doorstep, but having entertainment value for whether it's video gaming, sports type entertainment, or dining, fine dining, and a mixture of dining as we go, so that you can genuinely stay here with the family for a weekend and not be bored for that time and have something for everybody.
Yeah. I've seen that you're advertising for, those kind of hospitality and entertainment uses, which I think will do well down that end of the terrace, especially if you've got, how many rooms are in the hotel?
The hotel has 367 rooms. Currently, level 2 is just being finalised for made into self-contained apartments. So they'll have the amenity of washing machines, dryer, small kitchen, so you can stay there for a longer period of time, which again feeds into supporting our commercial tenants. If you have an engineer flying from Perth, you can house them for a 2-month stay or a 3-month stay comfortably without having to try and find a rental in the East Perth area, which has been becoming increasingly difficult.
Mm. And then, so you're looking as well at refurbishment, more refurbishment of the hotel?
The hotel has a refurbishment program, which is still to be finalised. We have got the rooms program underway. The other part will be also looking at how do we revitalise the lobby area and also the front facade on facing Adelaide Terrace. So Terrace Road has a major revamp, as with the entrance point, where it's now escalators from ground floor, lifts, access, escalators, travelators from the car park up into the retail foyer. The hotel needs to have a similar sort of revamp, which is underfoot to just as we planned for.
And then back to the ballrooms, as you said, used to host lots of events there. You're hoping to get events back into the ballrooms?
We are. We're engaging third parties to help support the re-engagement of having events back at the ballroom. So currently we have the grand ballroom, and then we have a number of smaller ballrooms below that. The below ballrooms, we're still working a plan through whether we have them kept as event spaces or we look at transforming them into venues, hospitality venues. But the grand ballroom itself will always be the cornerstone of where we host events. Again, looking at whether we need to revamp that, how we restructure the lobby to feed into that. But notionally, when you've got a 400-person, 500-person ballroom, it makes sense to have that pumping through, whether it's be weddings, corporate events, and all of that nature.
Yeah, it all tends to feed off each other if you've got retail, hospitality, hotel, and then offices. So how are you going backfilling some of the vacant offices now and
So the
kind of
office
into the future?
space, we currently have 18,000 square metres of office space. We've got a separate building, Core C, which I'm sat in right now, which faces Adelaide Terrace, and then the remaining commercial spaces wraps around the hotel and faces the river. We have interest from some parties in the fringe market. The fringe suburban market is quite popular at the moment. I think post-COVID, there's either been a flight to quality to core CBD and people looking to upgrade for that, or the suburban office market's been really strong as people want to sort of have convenience of workspace. East Perth offers that convenience in a central location and is on the cat bus service within the free transit zone of the CBD. But we've close proximity to Vic Park and those eastern suburbs with that quick access to the Great Eastern Highway, Canning Highway, and Albany Highway. As we move forward, we should have some announcements for the commercial tenants in the coming months.
It's good. Well, thanks, AJ. Appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you.